Finally, Alfred Sant.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Finance Minister, last week, as the agreement with Greece was being hammered out, the point up to the last was made that the deepest problem was one of trust, that is, trust in the Greek government, I understood. Now we have an arrangement that politically, in my view, can best be compared not to Versailles historically, but to the settlement of the Second Opium War between the European powers and China. Worse, though, is that the agreement with Greece cannot and will not work. Economically, technically, and administratively, it will make matters worse. Most financial analysts are saying it. The IMF is saying it as well. Yet, the settlement is being backed and rammed through by Greece's partners. Admittedly, the Greek government committed grave strategic mistakes in the conduct of negotiations. But don't you think now that the problem of trust has shifted from Greece to its European partners? Will not the question arise worldwide as a question of trust? Do the European partners of Greece understand the economic implications of the conditions they have imposed? If they do not understand, they cannot be trusted. If they do understand, why do they impose it politically, knowing it will fail? In this context, do you propose to undertake any initiative within the European Union and outside it to counter the mistrust, lack of credibility and instabilities that are bound to arise around the European Union brand as a whole?
Question, we haven't discussed that much about trust. It's a key point, and it was mentioned a lot in the Eurogroup and in the Heads of State and Government Summit. How better can you show trust, seen from the 18 other partners, than by being willing to extend an additional 80 billion euro loan to a country to which you have already lent 240 billion euro? Now, to say that there is now a reverse question of trust, you need to have a lot of imagination. Show me in history a place, a country, or 18 countries here together, who have lent as much money to someone that has problems. So I don't think that the question of trust has shifted and that there is no trust in Europe. So that's point number one. What everybody agreed on is that Greece, not only this government, I want to underline that, also prior governments of Greece have not been able to deliver in the programs and to implement what had been agreed. That's one of the reasons why the programs are not working. Now, you can throw overboard the whole philosophy of these programs, but I want to say if you have a solidarity that has played out as it has and lent that much money, and you know that there is a debt restructuring coming, to have the courage, I would say it's the courage, to give a third package of 85 billion, for me this is the greatest sign of trust. And let's not forget, all of us, we have to go back to our countries, to our governments, and explain to our governments in a period where it has been hard for all the countries, where there's budget problems in many countries. Go back and say, we're going to help again the weakest of all us. It's not that easy. And imagine countries that have been themselves under program. I'm not mentioning them, you know them. They are committed to lend additional money to Greece, although they're still in the program themselves. Not easy. If that is not a sign of solidarity,